Welcome to another episode of Chat Fox. My name's Sam. This is Jack.
Hi.
Jack Fox, Chat Fox.
Oh, but you're a part of this as well, so I don't know where you're.
My name's Chat. This is Fox.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I don't think that works, man. It was a play on words one night. I just came up with it, didn't I? At least I think I did. I don't know. Anyway. We are delighted to be joined by North East rapper, MC, singer, Instagram influencer from Anik. There's Anik in it?
Yeah.
Girl for Abi Nyxx! Wah, 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 wah. How are you?
First questions first. Why do you spell Anik with an L?
I don't know. And a W. An L and a W. Alan Wick.
Alan Wick. It's just weird, isn't it?
Top 10 questions science can't explain.
That's literally the only question that Jack had.
So thanks for joining me.
And we're done. Thank you very much.
All right.
No, anyway, obviously we're all pals here, which hopefully adds to the dynamic of the podcast. But yeah, we just thought we'd invite you on. What this podcast is really about, it's just about being real. It's about talking from the heart, from the mind, and just speaking about. We want to know about your journey. We want to know, what inspires you, what keeps you going, what's motivating you. Obviously, we're going to touch on COVID as well because it's a hot topic at the minute. But yeah, obviously Jack's an artist, I'm an artist, I'm a promoter, whatever. So we come from all walks of life, all different parts of the Northeast, and it's just be great to just chat and converse and get to know each other, and hopefully the listeners will get to know you as well. Sound good?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Excellent. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself first of all. Introduce yourself to anyone that doesn't know you.
Don't you hate that question?
I do.
Come on, Abby. Come on, Abby.
Let's hear one special thing about you. All right. Okay. So my name's Abi Nyxx. It's ABINYXX, even though it always gets me. And yeah, I'm a rapper and a singer and a sandwich artiste from Anik, Northumberland. I honestly don't know what else to say.
That's cool. Yeah, a sandwich artist.
Artiste, Sam.
Artiste. Sorry, in Subway, yeah?
Yeah.
Or do you just paint on sandwiches? Because that's weird, man. Like,
It's a really good sandwich.
Just in the middle of the street, just like painting on sandwiches and that. People are like, yeah, man, I'm trying to eat that.
Is Subway still open, is it? During this,
it is.
Takeaway in it?
Yeah.
Doing takeaways and that. That's it. How you been during COVID? Not on a deep level, but like what's changed for you apart from everything?
To be honest, I feel like for me it's the other way around to how it was for a lot of people, because before COVID I was just doing the music and stuff, and that was like all I was doing. But now I have like a separate job, so instead of having lost a job, I've actually got one. Just to get me out the house and stuff, so I've not struggled too much on that kind of level.
And what sort of motivated you to get a job during COVID, when really it's really not the time when you would think about getting a job? You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, it was just to have something to do and to still have a purpose during all of this.
Purpose.
The sandwiches aren't going to make themselves. You know what I mean? So.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for the greater good. I just want to feed the people.
Yeah, feed the people, man. Feed the birds. Tuppence a filling. Don't know what I was going on with that. So all right. So what's your go-to sandwich from Subway? We're going to ask everyone this.
All right. For me, my favorite one to make is a BMT, big man ting, because you put the ham, you fold it in very nicely. It looks very symmetrical. The nice little strips of
That's
salami.
the artiste coming.
Yeah.
That's the artiste coming through. Shine.
There's a very specific motion to it. But my favorite one to eat is the meatball.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Every time. But the thing is, you can't eat it though. Do you know anyone that can eat a meatball marinara, right? Without dropping the meatball?
Could you butcher a language any more than by going marinara?
Yeah, man.
Meatball marinara. The beautiful Italian language.
I have loads of people come in saying, "Can I get a meatball Mariana, please?"
Nice.
Like,
She just slingshot meatballs at them. Is it? No.
So that's your go-to, is it?
Yeah.
What bread?
Oh.
What are we doing here?
Just. Oh yeah, man! You gotta warm it up, man.
All right,
Speaking of warming up, do you toast it or do you put it in the microwave? Microwave, man. Come on.
I toast it, I toast it.
Toast it. But then it's
toast. You have the soft bread, man.
You gotta have that soft bread.
Something about like the toaster. I like the toaster. I like the noise the buttons make, and it gans in, comes in.
Gans in, comes out. That's what Subway's all about. Marinara. Didn't he do the hand of God?
Oh, dear me.
Yeah, sorry, I make really stupid jokes. Jack doesn't like it because he's the comedian, so I got to sit back. Nice one, Jack. What's your go-to sandwich?
Well, it would have been an Italian BMT, but a few years ago I turned vegetarian, so now I'd probably go for the vegetarian meatballs.
BVT. No, because
no.
I gotta shut up, man.
VMB. Really?
Very meaty balls.
Sure.
Is that what it stands for?
Yeah, me.
Cut out, mate. Cut out. Sick. What bread?
Herbs and cheese all day.
All day. Yeah. What bread did you choose, Abby?
Probably herbs and cheese as well. Yeah.
Herbs and cheese. See, I go herbs and cheese unless I'm on the honey grain wheat. I'm on a healthy vibe.
Yeah.
Which isn't often if I'm going to Subway. But
yeah, if you're going to Subway, you're going to the.
That's how it is, isn't it?
Remember when Subway came over to England? Because it was like only an American thing, wasn't it? Okay, bye. Just had enough.
Not surprised. She's probably just finished work. I'm sick of this one.
Yes, she
is. Come on.
Nice. Swag.
Love that shit. Love that.
Nice.
Yes. All day. If you wanted to know, mine's meatball marinara as well.
What?
Huh.
Sandwich.
Oh, right. Oh, I didn't want to know, but thanks for that information. Anyways,
well, I thought we're going through them. Anyway, so basically, COVID's inspired you, motivated you to get a job, and through that, you're making money. You feel purpose. I'm assuming you're putting that money into music.
Here's the thing, right? So that's the plan. I was supposed to put the money into the music, but I just kind of didn't. So I've got loads of like Amazon boxes all over my floor. I've been buying like praying mantises instead. So
yeah, but let's be honest here as well though. Like, Abby, you work in Subway. It's not like you're earning fucking millions of pounds. Like, sorry, I shouldn't swear. See what I mean about swearing? But it's
and it was the F word as well. So
sorry. But it's fine that you have you're making some money and stuff like that. That's cool. That's great. But you can't be expected to just like take the money from somewhere on one hand and then shove it all into like Facebook ads on the other hand. You've got to like live your life in that as well. So,
Yeah, well, this is the thing, man. This is the thing. Like, as I was what I was moving on to was, you don't necessarily need to do that, but a lot of people assume that, you know, other people that have jobs that aren't in music, they're just constantly, you know, grinding to, you know, make that paper to, you know what I mean, to put into the music and stuff like that. That's not the reality, is it, man?
Yeah. And like, I don't want it to sound like I don't want to do that. I just, you know, when you just don't have the self-discipline to be able to like do something
All the time.
You're telling me, yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. And you know what is? That's all right. I think that's all right, because if you're forcing yourself to be inspired, which I think is a little bit of a, what's the word? Oxymoron? Is that the right word?
I don't know. It depends what you're going to say, but it's a nice word.
Like you're forcing yourself to be to feel inspired. Like, I don't believe that's how it happens. Like, with a lot of my lyrics, like, I can't sit down and just write lyrics. I need to be. It needs to come to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you write your lyrics?
Jack, you go first.
Well, with rap lyrics, because of the style of stuff that I write, like more punchline based sort of stuff, I'll usually like collect lines over the course. Like, I'll think like something will randomly pop into my head, or I'll see something and I'll go, "Oh, that would be funny," or whatever. And I'll write that down, and then I'll like work backwards or work around it.
That's interesting.
Or sometimes like the mood will just hit us, and I'll just like dash out a verse in like 2 minutes. That's or it could take us like 6 months to write a song. It just
yeah.
But I think when you try and force it, like what you were saying before, if you try and force inspiration or force writing a song, you can feel it. Like, you can sense it in the music, and it's just not.
You definitely can. Like,
not the same.
What about you, Abby?
For me, usually when I'm writing a song, it's just like, oh, suddenly I felt like, oh, I need to write a song, or I've heard a certain beat and I can just hear sort of what needs to go over that. So usually what comes to mind for me first is how it should flow, and then I'll choose like lyrics to best sort of accommodate that flow and how I want it to be. But
right, so it's not lyrics first then?
No, which is weird because somehow it still comes out making sense sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Jay-Z method. That's how Jay-Z writes his songs. He finds what he calls a pocket, and then fits words around the rhythm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So. Have you ever tried different methods of writing? I
think, well, yeah, just like the same as what Jack was saying. Sometimes, like I've tried to sort of force it. Like, if I say one day, oh, I think I should make this kind of song for when I'm performing live. People will like that. Then I've tried to do it that way, and it's turned out all right, but it's just not like the same, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think because there's a few times when I've been writing and I've wrote it solely for that live purpose, you know. Like I'm like, oh, this is going to get a good reaction with this line, or you know, like even like, you know, making a beat or whatever, and then in other instances, I wrote it either solely for me or solely to touch maybe a nerve or maybe an emotion, you know. There's so many different ways to write, but I don't know. For me, like, I have to feel like it needs to feel natural. Otherwise, as you said, people are going to pick that up. Listeners ain't stupid, you know.
So wait there, are you two both telling me that you don't have like a page of notes on your phone with just like random lyrics written down?
Yeah, I've got them. Like,
I feel like it's like the really cool thing that like rappers especially have, like just like notes and stuff everywhere with little lyrics. And like I didn't used to do that until recently. I've started doing that now, but no, it honestly was never just the way that I did.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's on my phone. It's not like I've got it on bus tickets and stuff, you know. Like, you know, where like you see on like 8 Mile, where like where he's on the bus and he's like writing on this tiny little piece. Yeah. What's the first line? What's the first line of your random lyrics?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah. I want everyone to read them out.
It's not a line. It's just a phrase. It says "gunshot SquarePants," as in SpongeBob SquarePants. Maybe he's expecting to hear that in a song coming up in the future.
What about you, Abby?
My one was read my lips like a deaf gynecologist.
Nice.
Oh my days. Wow.
That's like a line like where like the beat cuts out and you just like well, what the fuck's going on here? Yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Writing.
Who cares? Aye.
Writing. Yeah, so in terms of throughout COVID, have you been writing much, Abby?
No. I don't feel like I have anyway.
You released that track, didn't you? What was it called again?
Bend the Knee.
Bend the Knee, that's it. Yeah. And you released that and then you were like, oh, there's an album coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What happened with that was I have this notebook where I basically write down like stuff that I want to happen. Like it's my manifestation thing on a spiritual vibe. Whatever.
All right,
so I had written, I think like last year, by July 2020, I want to have like all of my songs released on Spotify and stuff. And I saw that and it was like May, the end of May, and I was like, shit, well, I'm gonna need to get that done then. So I decided like right then, okay, I'm gonna make some album art right now. And as soon as I had that done, I uploaded it. But then I realized, oh shit, I'm gonna need to like make an album now. So it was all very badly planned and it's still sort of shelved at the minute. But yeah, that was what happened with that.
Do you feel, because of how you were in the past, in terms of, you know, you were very prominent in the music scene, everyone knew who you were, everyone still knows everyone still knows who you are, but do you feel, because of that work rate that you were putting in back then, and you know you were constantly putting stuff on YouTube and stuff like that, do you feel like you set yourself a standard to reach that every time, and maybe you just put yourself under pressure a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. Like I've been having a bit of a crisis lately, to be honest. Like, not to get too dramatic about it, but just about how I've not been doing the same things that I was doing last year. How like all the momentum is sort of, I feel like it's been lost. But then I'm trying not to go crazy, so I'm trying not to think about it too much. But yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, I think it's different. It's different than last year and difficult because of what's going on. It's really, but also I think it's quite easy to get momentum back up in this day and age. You not you, but the royal you or one could put out like a freestyle or two, and then all of a sudden everybody's like hyped up again. So I think I understand what you mean though, because like you know, this time last year, like you couldn't go on Facebook without seeing somebody sharing one of your posts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, in a good way. But obviously, this year's been really weird, and I think people kind of tend to have what I've noticed over the last few months with COVID, and that people have their own 15 minutes where they release a song and everybody seems to hype it up, and then it'll just naturally die. Like my band had it when we released our song. Like it was all thought about for like 2 weeks, and then it came out, and then people liked it, and then it just kind of naturally died off, and then
that is the reality though. That's the reality. That's the reality.
No, well, it is. But I think if we were allowed to like go out and play live and stuff, I feel like we would have had a gig, and we would be able to go like on radio interviews and etc. Would have been able to keep it going a bit more, I think.
Oh yeah, completely. But as it stands now, that's the reality of it. Sure. And what I'm trying to say is it's all right to feel like that. It's all right to take that time away. You know, you should feel obliged to do whatever you need to do. I think one of the biggest things, and one of the biggest things you should credit yourself on, Abby, is the fact that you went out and got a job, and you know you realized what was going on, and you went and sorted that out, you know. And with me, I sort of go from dedicating my passion and everything into one thing, and that's another thing suffers because of that, you know. And I've had that in the past. I'm sure Jack's had that as well, because Jack, you're balancing comedy and music in a band, and you know, whatever else you got going. It's all about balance, and balance is so important as an artist. But it's also so important to realize when you need to take time for yourself. You know, you don't always need to be at the top of that leaderboard or whatever. You know, you don't always need to be at the surface. You don't always need to be in people's faces all the time, sticking out music and stuff like that. But when you take that time back for yourself, you know, for example, in May, you said, "Oh, damn, I need to be putting out an album," you know, and immediately you're pushing yourself when really there's no real, you've got no deadline. It's just you know, you know what I mean? People are going to forgive you because people love your music. If it was like a label or something where I was like, "Oh, you need to put this out by then,"
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like a lot of artists, if you're not feeling it, and it's not truly a part of you at that time, then don't put yourself under mental pressure and emotional pressure to do something that you really, you know, this shit should be fun, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's so easy to forget that though, because I know, like, without even having spoken about it to you guys, we're probably all the same, that it's so easy to forget and to actually like take it so seriously because you want it so much. You want people to hear what you've done, and you want to be able to, like, you know, get people's opinions on it and things like that, that you just put yourself under that pressure, which is which is why it's so nice to hear, like, from you saying that, you know, it should be fun.
It has to. I truly do believe that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, you know, I'll just mess about and whatever, but like, listen to yourself, you know, like, because this stuff, like, me and Jack have spoke about this in the past, about, you know, how it can mentally take its toll on you, you know, with stats and you know, and like putting out music and then going to another project and feeling a little bit disheartened, you know, like momentum is such an important thing, but also just your own well-being, mental well-being and physical well-being as well, you know. I think it's just it's really important to take notice of that, especially in these times right now where we are actually given time to sort of choose what direction we want to go down. I know I've done that with myself, with COVID and the pandemic and stuff, and you know, being stuck inside and that. It's given me a lot of time to think creatively, but also just be like, well, you know, like, I could easily set myself up schedules and stuff like that, but really, like, it's only me that I'm trying to impress right now, and that, you know, that, or it's not as big as what you make out in your head, is what I'm trying to say.
I think it's important to realize that you have more time. It all feels like I'm talking directly to Abby, but I'm not. I'm just saying it in general. That you have more time than what you think. Like, I've got a batch of songs that I'm waiting to release, but I could have just put them out as like another EP, but I didn't want to. I've decided to stagger them over the course of like next year, because it's more easily digestible, I guess, when people just put singles out, and there's no rush. I'd rather wait and have them right than just like rush to get them out. There's like, how old are you, Abby, if you don't mind us asking?
Let me try and remember. 21.
That's so depressing. God damn.
We're in my 30s and you're 21.
I feel sick.
I think another thing as well is, obviously you're scrolling through social media, your feed is full up of your peers and your fellow artists, and it's so easy to see them on a roll with it and putting stuff out all the time, and you know, and it's so easy to compare your journey with theirs, and at the end of the day, we've all got separate journeys, you know. And that's why it's so important to recognize that. Don't get me wrong, see what's going on, because I feel I get mad inspired by seeing, you know, other artists in the scene that are doing their thing. I get inspired, I get motivated. It gives me a little kick up the arse sometimes. But also it's so important to be like, well, they're doing their thing, and they might have different tools, you know, that they're using and stuff like that. And I'm doing my thing. And I've been at times where I've been sat there, I've said to myself, I'm not going to do anything today, nothing creative. I'm not going to pick my guitar up. I'm not going to make a beat. I'm not going to write anything. And then I'll go on social media and I'll see a bunch of people that are, you know, throwing out stuff, and, you know, you can see the work rate that they're putting in. And I'm like, oh man, like, should I be doing that? You know what I mean? And then you start to question your own work rate, and you start to question.
But you know yourself that, like, Instagram and that's just a highlight reel of people's lives.
Absolutely, but absolutely. But at the same time, it's still my response to it. You know, it's still how.
I mean, it is, but just because somebody's putting out a song today doesn't mean that yesterday they took a day off and did nothing. Like,
but you don't know that. That's the thing. And also, the same way that people will look at you, they don't know what you're going through. That's the joys of social media. As open as it can be, it's still behind closed doors. You know what I mean? It's not an insight into their life. It's an insight into what they will let you see.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of reminds me, I don't remember exactly, Sam, if it was something when we were listening to your mixtape, or if we were just like on a phone call or something, but I remember thinking about something that you said along the lines of, sometimes you don't know if you're doing the right things or if you're going about it in the wrong way as well. When you see other people exposure and stuff, and you think, are they doing something that I don't know about that I like should be doing? And that's something that
I mean, Jack brought up a great point when we last talked in the podcast, and he said there was a band that you mentioned. You didn't mention them by name, but we were talking about stats and stuff like that. And you were saying how their listeners and players just don't correlate with each other.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, I've realized now that it's so easy to even just create the facade that you're an artist. You know what I mean? It's you can easily create an identity of yourself of being an artist without even putting music out.
Yeah.
You know, like, and there's such a fine line between musician, artist, and social media influencer. You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of like I rely on Instagram heavily. I know, like, if I'm putting anything out, it's got to go on Instagram, and I also pay a lot of attention to that as well. And as much as
you, like, recently in the past few weeks, just for this mixtape and for the songs on it, like the little preview things you've been putting out.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me saying, I think that's a really good idea. Like that was good.
And I really enjoy that as well. And that really hyped me up for my own release. I was just talking to Jack before, and he was like, "Oh, are you excited for it?" I was like, "I'm a bit tired now." You know what I mean? But that's all right. That's all right. Like, it's fine to feel like that. It's fine to feel whatever you feel about being an artist. You don't always have to be on the grind all the time. If it's going to you know, be self-detrimental to your health and well-being. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about the benefits and setbacks of social media. And in the last podcast, we touched on this quite a bit, me and Jack. But I want to know what your opinion is of it, your honest opinion. Has it benefited you? Has it set you back a little bit of both? What do you reckon?
I think probably a little bit of both. As in, I'm really, like, grateful that I'm alive during this whole social media landscape that we have going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously, without it, I would still just be an Annick. Like, it wouldn't matter if I was like doing the odd little gig in the pub at Annick. It wouldn't matter. But obviously because I've been able to post my videos and things, like you found it, other people have found it, and like I've reached a much broader audience than I think I ever would have before social media. But also because that opportunity is there for so many people, because the internet is so, you know, full of people. And sometimes I feel like it is oversaturated with just stuff, and because there's so many things like flying at you that you can get distracted with, or for other people to see, sometimes it's really easy for your stuff to get lost, or for you to sort of get lost in it and start comparing and things like we were talking about before. So it's
absolutely, yeah. From a promoter, you know, music management side of things, that's a big thing. When you say oversaturated, that's not really a bad thing. In from my side of things, as a promoter or whatever, as a booker, as an artist, it is. But being a promoter, I can sort of appreciate that other side. But you do get so much stuff flying to you. Like, I think I probably get about like 5 or 6 notifications, you know, of such and such is going live, especially now. But like, you know, I feel like everyone's got like a new release coming out all the time, you know. So how do you, because obviously you want to be the main highlight, don't you? You want to be the one that everyone wants to go listen to, you know. We're artists, we've got egos, you know, that's what it's about. But do you sort of pay attention to where you sort of fit into that timeline of, you know, say for example, in a week you've got said artists, you've got like 3 different artists that are, you know, chatting about the new release and stuff like that. And then you're like, well, I've got a new release coming in as well. Does that affect you? Or are you just like, I just want it out? You know, like say if you've got new music, or do you have like a process that you go through?
Honestly, because I've only ever put out one official release, not counting our collab and stuff. I don't think I have enough experience with it to say that I have a process, but when I've been putting out like my videos and things, say that kind of stuff, I just do it mostly in the middle of the night when no one's awake, because I'm just, like unaware with that kind of stuff. I just want it to be out.
So you don't think about the right time to put it out or anything like that? Do you literally record it and then put it out, or do you wait a little bit on it? Or
it really depends. If it's something that I'm really, really proud of, that I think is gonna, you know, potentially get a lot of views, like when I did the Scapegoat, I purposefully put that out at a specific time, and I waited for that one. But I can't think of any other time when I've actually paid attention, which is probably a bad thing considering I'm here like, oh, no one's paying attention to me. But yeah, I just sort of put it up as soon as it's done.
what do you prefer? Do you prefer getting a ton of views and likes on your video, or do you prefer getting a small amount of people just going wild at one of your shows?
Okay, no, definitely a small amount of people going wild at one of my shows. But I don't know if that's because I miss shows so much. I'm like, oh, do you remember shows? They were really mint.
Yeah. I mean, you were gigging quite a bit, like last year.
It was going really well.
You done a lot of events for me, and
I
you
think
done
most of my gigs have been through you, actually.
Well, you know, I didn't want to say that, but you know, if you would put words in my mouth. But that's the thing. Do you think that your live performance reflects you more than your social media image, or are they both the same thing?
It's really weird because I think this is gonna, okay, I don't even know where this is coming from. This is just what my brain is telling me to say, so it might not even make sense. But so when I make my songs, I can sort of see in my head like how people might think of me when they hear this. And then I don't really think that either my social media presence or me when I'm like on stage are very similar to that. I think it's 3 different things. I think when you're listening to the music, you'll think of one thing. And then if you see me on social media, you'll probably think of me in a different way. And then if you see me live, it's probably a totally different thing. And I don't know which one is more accurate. Probably when I'm live, because that's just, me in person. But what do you guys think for when you're performing? Do you think that's like you or?
Well, for me personally, this project that I'm doing is quite new to me. I've only been rapping and writing and performing in that sense for about a year. But as an artist in general, I feel like I play the timid card quite a bit. And if I'm being completely honest, I think I rely on my exterior and the way that I market myself is no different to how you would market yourself. Or do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I've been backwards and forwards on that. I didn't know if that was the right way to go about it, but at the end of the day, it is just it's marketing, and if good visuals and it's the game in my opinion. And I think once you realize that and you stop trying to humble yourself or distract yourself from it, the easier it is to accept and therefore go ahead with. What about you, Jack?
Well, as I said in our last podcast, that I kind of see, like, I've sort of doubled down on my character in the last year or so, just being like this ridiculous, like, over the top sort of jokey, comedic, ridiculous bars about all sorts of stuff. So, but then also when I performed live, like that time when I did the rap night at Mason's, and I was like sorry, I shouldn't swear, but I was like throwing chairs over and all sorts of, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel really comfortable performing. And I used to really quite not like recording. Doing tracks. I used to get what's called like a red light syndrome. Like I'd be all confident stuff that as soon as like the press record, I was
yeah.
And then
absolutely,
it's I grew up performing, so I grew up being on stage loads and getting used to that. And then when you go to record, it's a completely different environment, But then as time's gone on, I feel more comfortable recording. But I still feel like live is the best medium for me.
Do you feel like you see yourself the same way? I think we touched on this last time, Jack, but and this goes, I'll say this to you, Abby. Do you feel like you see yourself the same way as your listeners or fans do?
I would like it if that was the case, but I honestly don't think so. I think, just judging from a lot of comments that I get and things, I'm not saying that they're wrong or that it's bad. I just think that the way that I'm presenting myself is different to how I am, and sometimes I forget that. So I think, I would like to express this, I'd like to convey this, but maybe it's picked up in a different way. Just because,
But you have a couple of different. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, but you have a couple of different sides to you, though, Abby, because you have songs that are like, you'd say more traditional, like rap style, which you're saying like, well, like Bend the Knee, even, for example, you're like, oh, I can't stop swearing, god damn it. like a more traditional sort of like I'm the best MC in the world, and which is what every rapper has, whatever. But then also you have like the singing sort of stuff, which is like a more vulnerable. So how do you see yourself though? Like, what do you see yourself as, or just an all-round artist?
I don't know. I just honestly, I love to do all of it, and something that I've heard a lot from people is like, I need to find a more consistent sort of brand, I suppose, which I guess would help. But I don't feel like I can. I'm not trying to be like, oh, because I'm so versatile. Oh my god! But like, I have so much stuff that I want to do that I think I can do, and I don't know which one is like more true to me overall. I just do what I feel like
And again, I think that comes back to the pressure, you know, that internal pressure of who do I need to be? You know, what do I need to be doing? Like at the end of the day, you can literally do whatever you want, because the more versatile you are, the easier it is to pick whatever one you want to go for and mold that into something that's going to work for you. As an artist, I believe I've been very versatile, and I've never found my sound. I've always had people go to me, well, you know, you need to pick something. You need to. I got a review of the Progress. Is it Progress or Process? I can't even remember, of my last EP. And they were like, "Oh, we feel like Sam needs to pick a sound and go with it." And I was like, "Well, it's just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the way I write is my style, is my genre and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when I start pressuring myself to be a certain way or certain style, or be, you know, a certain personality, it all becomes false to me. And if you feel, you know, if you feel free and happy and you feel like that's how you thrive as an artist, then that shouldn't be a problem to you know, sing or rap or whatever. The more tools that you've got, the easier it is to fix things, man. So like, I would embrace your versatility. But
I would ask the same thing of you guys though, because I know Sam, you sing and rap and also play instruments, and Jack, you're in a band, a comedian, and a rapper as well. I don't know if you guys ever get this, but for me, like if I'm singing, I'll have people saying, "Oh, this is so much better than the rap. You should just do this." Or if I'm rapping, I have the same thing, but on the other side. It's just there's no way you're gonna please everybody. So how do you guys?
You're never gonna please everybody.
No. And also, opinion is just purely opinion. You know what I mean? Like, you could have. Also, I personally think that opinion only works if it correlates with what you're truly feeling inside. It's only going to affect you. You know what I mean? So like I've had people say stuff to me about my music that I've been deadly against, and being like, well, no, that's not what was about at all. But then that it's their opinion, and that's fair enough. But then, you know, how do you take the stuff on? Like, everyone's got such strong opinions now, and everyone's, you know, different people from different walks of life, and in terms of rappers, you know, different styles, and everyone's got different preferences. So what's true, and what's true to you? What do you believe? You know, again, I feel it just always comes back to pressure. You know, I don't know if that weighs on you, and same with you, Jack. But you know, everyone's got their opinion. It doesn't mean it's right, though.
Absolutely. It's you can't please everybody. All you just have to do what you feel is right and what you feel is comfortable, and just keep going in it.
Absolutely. Do you feel a pressure to perform as Abi Nyxx aside from Abby Wilson?
Yeah. Sometimes more than others. It just depends on the setting and stuff.
But does it not?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry. Does it not help to have like a different name though? To be like Abi Nyxx is its own thing as opposed to who you are, Abby Wilson, working in Subway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's kind of cool. Like when you think of it in that way, it's just sometimes I get so caught up in like, even just when I'm meeting people, if they know me from my music and stuff, I feel like they're expecting me to be like this little goth bitch with no manners, and I'm actually the shyest.
Absolutely. And personally, I think that boils down to the way that, you know, we were talking about marketing and how we put ourselves on social media and stuff like that. Obviously, with a lot of your posts, I feel like they're there to make a statement. You know, a lot of, you know, like the posts that you put out, your music is there to make a statement. Do you feel like you need to make a statement, or do you just do it because it's part of the brand, if you will, of what Abi Nyxx is? Or is it, you know, do you feel a little bit, what's the word? Not like oppressed, but like, you know what I mean? Like, do you feel like you're having to shout to get your name heard in that sense of the style that you're in? And do you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah, I think like maybe when I started, I would have said that I felt like I had to shout to get my name heard, but now I don't feel like that's the case, because obviously I've found like the scene and everybody in it, and I don't feel like I'm oppressed in that at all. I just think when I'm rapping, I feel like the best work that I do comes from a place of feeling like I have something to prove. So
okay.
that's what comes across in the lyrics a lot. Which is something that I don't want to rely on too much, because I don't want it to get, you know, stale. But I think that's probably why it sounds like I'm trying to make a statement with everything I do, because it's just like sort of where I get the energy from.
Yeah. What about you, Jack? In terms of, do you feel like you always have to write a funny line, or like you always have to have this, like you always have to live up to your character that you've built? You know, you've got Jack Fox, you've got Abi Nyxx. You know, for me personally, it's more right music and management than it is Sam Thomas. Do you feel like whenever you're writing, you like, or whenever you're performing, like you have to live up to that character?
A little bit, but also that's what I do anyways. Like I didn't sit down and think, oh, I'm gonna be Jack Fox, and this is the type of music I'm gonna write. I did that kind of music, and I thought, this is what I want to do. Like, it took me a while to find what I want to do and how I want to present myself and stuff. So, and then when I did find it, I was like, okay, this is me now. And this is the kind of
and
stuff
it's natural.
Yeah. This is the kind of stuff I enjoy anyways. And I still do like write stuff that isn't what you'd fully expect from me, and more serious stuff. And like the EP I put out earlier this year was like 3 rock songs and 3 rap songs. Like I was playing guitar and screaming, well, not screaming, but like shouting stuff down the microphone and stuff. So,
but did you do that to create an impression, or to change people's perception of you, or did you just do it because you purely wanted to?
I did it because I go through phases where I'm like banging different kinds of music. And I started off into rap music, and I wrote 3 rap songs. I was like, oh, that's cool. I've got like 3 nice generic, like that Scumbag song we had.
Yeah,
you know, it's all right. It's not like the best song in the world, but it's pretty cool. Then
it's fun though. It's fun.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Thanks. And then I started listening to like sort of like synth wavy, like 80s sort of guitar style stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is cool. I should try making some stuff like this. And then I made like 1 or 2 songs, and then I just started playing guitar more. And I thought, oh, I've got like a batch of songs that have nothing to do with each other here.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Abi?
Just well, I kind of like I was saying before, I do feel like I do so much in terms of like, oh, this genre here, that genre there. I've tried out some synthwave stuff as well, and I love doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone will ever like want to hear that from Abi Nyxx. So I feel like that kind of.
Well, that's what I thought as well, and like that's what. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. I've cut you off like 3 or 4 times now. I'm really sorry.
Thanks,
I'm call you misogynistic. Well, that's what I thought as well. If you look on like my YouTube page, I only have like 3 videos on there, and 4 videos. One of them's drive a car with your eyes closed. Another one's stay indoors with your hands watched, which is basically drive a car with your eyes closed. Another one is step away from me, which is me playing guitar and like a rock song. And the other one's like that hand sanitizer stupid freestyle thing I did. If you looked at my YouTube page, you go, this guy raps. I have no idea. This guy. So it's for all you saying that people don't want to hear synthwave stuff from Abi Nyxx. Like, if you enjoy doing it, you should do it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And I think as well is it's very easy to assume what people are going to expect from you, and how people will see you. And half the time, I think you probably, and I need to tell myself this all the time as well, but you'd be pleasantly surprised. I think one of the biggest things with you, Abi, and I've told you this time and time again, is you have a platform, and when you do put stuff out, you have a platform to be able to influence people, and people actually pay attention to you. With your delivery, with your passion, with your aggression, but also I think people see that other side of you, and it makes you more accessible as an artist, because some people might see you and be like, oh yeah, it's that girl, that goth girl that like raps aggressively. But it makes you more accessible to other people. You know what I mean? It's the same with like I said this to Jack. I said, I just knew you as a making football puns and stuff like that, and making dick jokes and stuff like that. But when I first heard his song 15 Minutes, it completely changed my perception of him. And that versatility made him more accessible in my head as an artist. And it's the same with you as well, Abi, like with what you do. And obviously you've been very open in your music. I've been very open in my music, and Jack's been very open in his as well. And even if it's just one song, that one song can be how someone sees, can be how just one person could see you in, an inspiring light or a motivating light, or you can empower people just through that one song, whether it's synthwave, whether it's rap, grime, reggae, polka, you know what I mean? Like, just anything like that. But I think it's so important for us to be aware of, if we are authentic and we believe in what we're doing, then other people will believe in it as well. And that's the authentic fan base or reach that you have with people. And it's also very important to be aware of how the identity that you create on social media and stuff like that. And as we were talking about before, the way we market ourselves, the characters we create for ourselves, I think it's good to separate ourselves from that as well. And I think especially with you getting a job as well, it separates, because you're not like, people aren't asking for like a BMT and you're like, oh yeah, big man thing, and then you just spit off some skippy flows, you know what I mean? Like,
maybe I should though. Maybe I should.
Maybe, but I think it's a nice breath of fresh air to have that time where you don't need to be Abi Nyxx. And also with you, Jack, where you don't need to be, making jokes all the time and stuff like that.
No, I don't, but I enjoy doing that sort of stuff anyway. So.
Yeah, I know, but like sometimes it's good to just have that time when it's only you, the person that truly knows you. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, like I think, like for me, it's such an important thing, because I feel a lot of people can get lost in that, and people feel like they need to live up to always being putting out music, or always being the aggressive rapper, or always being the deep rapper, or always being this, or always being that, and they just, sometimes it's nice to just be you, But yeah, I mean, obviously on the topic of social media, you had a lot of success with a lot of your stuff, but recently you've had quite a big success. Do you want to tell her about that?
Yeah, so some people might remember that in April this year, Mike Wright just was doing his whole the Because I Love You challenge thing, where basically everyone had to send in them doing some sort of remix of his song Because I Love You. And the winner would get to make a song with him. So basically he would bring them down to his studio, make a song, get the video done and all of that. And I actually won that somehow.
Somehow.
And which honestly, like, I can't explain. I've not even said this, like, even when I won, I didn't say anything about it, but like, I'm just gonna say it now. It's so crazy because one of the ways that I got into rap in the first place was like just sitting one night stuck at the train station with nowhere to go, and some like stranger came up and started talking to me and showed me Mike Righteous's music and stuff, and like to see him listening to like my song and then wanting to work with me was crazy.
That's mad.
But it's another like thing that's been put on hold just because of circumstances, COVID, and then also he got hit by a car. So
that'll do it.
yeah,
Like that'll do it.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Drive a car with your eyes closed. I blame Jack.
Sabotage. No.
Jack, you wouldn't. So yeah, that's another thing that I've been feeling like kind of guilty about, even though it's like not my fault. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't know the opportunity slide, you know.
So
Sorry.
in terms, because I won't lie, right? I haven't listened to Mike Righteous before. I don't really know who he is, and for any of the listeners, can you just explain sort of who he is and why it's such a big deal for you? Obviously, you mentioned with that, but you know, what was the competition like? Was it some massive thing, or was it, you know? I don't really know much about it.
Well, I'll try and like explain, but honestly, I feel like I'm not the best person to explain who Mike Righteous is, because you know I'm not into the whole like grime and rap scene as much as everybody else. I just really like him, so I'll try my best. But he's basically another rapper from like down south, and he's done really well. He's done a few like Fire in the Booth and things like that. He's pretty well known. He was in like some beef with AJ Tracy a while ago. He's made tracks with Ed Sheeran and Emily Sandé for like mainstream sort of things.
Oh wow!
And he's just pretty wicked, to be honest. I just love everything that he's done, to be honest. His lyrics are so deep, and then he's also so clever, and he just something about like the gruffness in his voice is something that I've tried to emulate, which is probably why I come across as like the goth girl that raps aggressively, because I'm trying to like emulate this big like man through me, and it comes out as how it is. But yeah,
I think it comes out pretty good. Like and the way that you deliver your verses and stuff like that, it stops you in your tracks. You know what I mean? Like me and Jack have both seen you live quite a few times now, and there's no doubt that you definitely you can pull a crowd around into your favor. You know, you can turn heads. You know what I mean? And I think that is massively important as well. We've all been on stages where there's not been many people there. Probably a lot of my events, but there's something about when you can change the dynamic of an atmosphere and change it into something that's beneficial for you. You know, I think that makes a lot, and I don't know a lot of artists that are able to do that, to be honest.
Well, thank you. That's a big compliment.
Don't know that's got to do with Mike Righteous, like, but alright, sound fine.
No, I was talking about something else. I mean, what? I don't know much about Mike Righteous. Mike Righteous. I can't say his name.
So it's really cool though. Is it just postponed for now? What are you remixing a song with him, or is it like you're doing like a collab track or something, or do you not know?
We're supposed to be like making a collab track, but honestly, I have messaged him a few times, like since everything's happened, and said, "Do you have any ideas for what we're gonna do and we're gonna do things like that?" And I haven't really had any responses, but I've been talking to one of the runner-ups from the competition, who
someone less
is
than
also
you.
Gonna be
Yeah, someone.
well,
subhuman
no.
scum. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Beneath my boot. He's cool and easy. He's pretty great, to be honest. It was really close.
Just not as great as you. Sure. Right. Okay. Sorry.
Like, I'm not saying anything. I'm not. But so I was talking to him, and he was basically saying that it's been the same with him. He's not been getting much of a response from Mike, which I don't know. It might just be down to he's been busy putting out a new album and stuff as well. Obviously, he got hit by a car stuff like that. So I'm not trying to rush him, and I don't want to be like that pushy super fan who's like, oh, please work with me. So it's just sort of like, I don't know, should I be doing more? I've kind of decided that maybe I'll just make a track and then leave some space for him on it, and then send
That's
it.
a good
I personally think that I mean, if you're feeling it, it's just good to just go back into Abi Nyxx mode. You know what I mean, and just be releasing stuff. If that's what you want to be doing, obviously it's gonna happen. It's gotta happen. But you know, in the meantime, if you've got stuff you want to be putting out or whatever, just go back to that, man. I think it's so weird because for me, I feel like I need to build up to releasing something. And with you, as you've said, you've put something out, and overnight it's got like a couple of thousand views. You know what I mean? Like, be aware of that and use that to your advantage. You know, people are going to want to hear more Abi Nyxx stuff. You know, you're talking about collabs. I think we've got time to talk about this. What's your opinion on collaborations, especially within the Northeast?
Okay, I'm getting kind of nervous because
this is an indication of the conversation.
Are you doing that longer on purpose?
Well, that's not an indication of the conversation. I just have a really bad sleeping pattern now. I'm
sorry. Me and Jack are meant to collab, but I keep forgetting to actually do it. And I was going to say this. Do you know, Sam, remember when we were doing Drive-By? And you messaged me saying that I have this song, will you do a verse on it? And I was like, yeah. And then like half an hour later, I sent it to you. And it was done.
Classic Abi Nyxx.
Well, that's the thing. It's either that or it's like, I'm going to take a year to do this. But when I actually like sit down to do it, I'll get it done within the night. It's just me actually sitting down and doing it that's the problem.
Nah, so, she wins one competition with Mike Righteous and she's like...
Hits Mike Righteous with one car, and all of a sudden she's Mrs.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get Subway now. Come on.
Exactly. She's eating well. In terms of collaborations within the Northeast, obviously, as you became more prominent in the Northeast, I can imagine you had a lot of people wanting collaborations with you. For example, me. How important do you think collaborations are in the Northeast?
I do think that they're pretty important, as in us being like a collective scene and appearing that way to people who are, you know, watching it from the outside and stuff. And obviously just getting to know each other and making connections and stuff, I think it is important. But I'm also I'm very bad at it. Because like I'm just terrible at messaging people back, as you'll both know. And it's not that I'm not inspired by wanting to collab with them or anything, it's just the way that it is with me. Like I find it quite difficult to do teamwork a lot of the time. Which is just to detour for a second. I was going to ask you guys, do you both record from home mostly?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. You mostly. I also use always give an opportunity to shout out Harbour Master in socials.
Harbour Master, yeah.
He's in the middle of like moving his studio to a different place, so it's all a bit messed up in a minute. But I normally record vocals here, and then I'll take it to the studio to be mixed and put together properly. Yeah.
I think in terms of that, it is so important to obviously work with different artists and stuff like that.
But she hadn't finished making that point yet, but she was only asking us a question.
Oh, apologies.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say, because I don't know if it's the same with you guys, but for me, like, I find it really scary and difficult to record in someone else's studio, like, because I have such a specific process with how I write and record, because I do it all at once. That like I find that weird to be somewhere else. I don't know if you guys have ever had anything similar with that.
Absolutely. To be honest, I still get nervous when, like what Jack said before, even just press and record. I can practice things and absolutely nail it non-stop. But the minute I press record, even in my own studio, home setup, whatever it is, there's just that something about it that just switches me. But in the actual studio, I'll proper clam up me.
Well, I think it just comes with practice. Like it's what I was saying before. Is I'm fortunate enough now. Like Harbour Master, what I was saying. Well, his real name's Martin. I've known him for years and years and years. We used to be in a band together years ago. So when I go in the studio with him, also my first like real serious like rap project was a project me and him put out together. He made all the beats and then I did all the rapping on it. So I feel really comfortable in front of him. It's more like a collaborative effort than it is me just using his studio. So I feel like it's a bit easier to work around. And then also when I'm in the band, we have a guy called Richard Trubidge who records us through Durham. And he's a drummer. He's multi instrumentalist. We've known him for years as well. So I think you have to, if you go into the studio, you have to treat it. Well, it depends who you're going in with. If you're going in with a friend or someone that you know, if you treat it more as a collaborative effort than just okay, I'm going to record this song, because then it becomes more like a business transaction. And I think you do feel the pressure a little bit to perform and stuff. But if it's with a friend and you go, okay, I'm just going to try this, or should I think I should say it a bit differently, or you want to drop us in here and I'll redo that line and stuff? I think it feels a bit more relaxed. That's just what I've learned over getting over my fear of recording.
Yeah.
Because it is like the studio is so you can hear every little detail and stuff. So it is, and if you use the studio to your advantage in terms of adding like extra reverb on this bit or a little bit of delay on this bit or something, then it becomes like its own instrument and you can use it to your own advantage. But it is daunting at first though. Because like you're standing there with the headphones on, and you're standing, and you can hear your own breath in the headphones, and you can hear your heartbeat, and you're like, "Oh fuck me, there's people standing around behind us. I don't know what's going on."
It's always reverb on it as well.
Yeah, always a little. Reverb on it. So it sounds much bigger than what it actually is. So.
Yeah.
But if you just learn to your advantage, then but then again, recording at home is really easy and really good, and then
it's a different energy. I feel there's a different energy with it. You know. There's no pressure, and there's no money being exchanged or whatever. But also, some people thrive under that pressure.
True.
And also, it's all.
Do you have a recording setup at home, Abby?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's good, really. Even just for like recording demos and stuff, I think it's really useful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, with the mixtape I put out, I recorded everything here, but I made sure I got it mixed and mastered and everything like properly. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking about just putting it out like with everything I'd done, and also I think it's very important to have another opinion, another ear, another eye on what you're doing.
That's a good point.
Because just like what you think isn't always what it is sometimes,
Well, that's what I'm saying about if you're making a collaborative effort, it does seem a bit more. It's always. I do think it is important to get a second pair of ears or eyes on it or whatever. I think that is important.
Do you do that, Abby?
Honestly, no. I've only ever been to like properly to another studio once, and that was when I went with like Saga Boy and all of that lot to Loft Studios for a session, and like it was great. I loved it. It was really fun, but I wasn't happy with like what I did because I felt too scared to sort of say if I didn't like a take or if I wanted it to be mixed differently.
Right.
I didn't want to mess with what they were doing. So I probably, like Jack said, if I'd viewed it more as like this is just us here in a relaxed environment, like making something, it would have been easier. But because I was seeing it as like, oh, these are the cool rap people from the North East, and
I can understand how that would be a bit pressurized.
I think chemistry is so important within music. I think chemistry is so important with anything. You've got to have. We were talking about Drive By before, Abby. Like I'd sent that to a couple of other people previous to you, and obviously I was in no position really to critique anyone on their rap ability. So it was really a test for me to go, well, what do I really want and what am I really going to be happy with? And obviously I think we'd only been speaking a couple of months, I think. And you know, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh well, I need Abi on this, because you know, just the chemistry that we built, you know, within Right Music and Management, and you know, I had you on a couple of events and stuff like that, and it felt right, you know. And sometimes you just got to trust your instinct. And the funny thing is chemistry won't always be there as well. You know, you could go in the studio. I've been in the studio before, and the guy just hasn't got me whatsoever. But because I didn't have that much experience, or anything like that, I ended up coming away with a shoddy piece of work, and you know, I'd paid for it, and because the chemistry wasn't there. Sometimes chemistry needs to be built. Sometimes it's just there naturally. As I said to Jack, I felt he was the perfect person to be a part of Right Music and Management because of the chemistry that we built, you know, and because of how he sort of fed into the vision of it. He you know, he believed in the vision, and it's so important to have people like that around you as well. Not necessarily yes men, but people that add to you and add things of substance to you as an artist and a person, you know. But yeah, it's such a crazy one, isn't it? Because you think music's just all about just jumping in a booth and doing your thing and recording music and doing your thing. But when you think about it more, there's so many little intricacies that are a part of it, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
Coming back to the collaboration side of things, we spoke about, you know, you said it's important, but you know, is it? I feel like the collab side of things in the Northeast has become a lot more. There's a lot more of it happening. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of features.
I think it's a good thing, though. I don't see a problem with it, you know.
Is it? Don't name any names, but is there anyone that you wouldn't collab with?
She's going to say me and shit because she hasn't done that bloody feature that I asked her for.
Wait, let me.
And this ain't to beat you out or make you out to be anything. This is just real.
Anyone in the Northeast that I know that I wouldn't collab with.
If you felt like you just, you know, didn't want to for any reason or whatever, would you do that, or would you, you know, or would you do it in spite of it?
It really depends. Like, if I think that the track is going to be a good track, then I'll do it regardless of anything else. But like, I think when it comes down to it, there probably would be some people that I would be like, no, unless of course like they had a really good idea. I wouldn't just base it on like, oh, I'm not going to collab with this person because it's this person, you know.
Yeah. I mean, purely on, you know, well, I say purely on ability, but I think so many different factors come into play. I know that for me personally, I'll happily say this: I've refused booking people because, you know, of a certain factor or whatever. Purely because I thought of the way that they conduct themselves. Maybe they've done a gig for me before and I've got bad feedback. You know, that's why it's it's almost like a CV. You know what I mean? Like everything you do is like a CV to other people. What about you, Jack? Like, is anyone, obviously not naming names, but like that you just say, nah, I'm not about
that? Yeah, probably, but not for any. I don't. There's some people that wouldn't make sense for me to collab with. I don't think.
Yeah,
like I haven't collabed with that many people. Well. Sorry,
that's an important factor as well.
Yeah,
I think.
Like I put out all those EPs in 2018, and I only did tracks with 3 other people. Now, like the last EP I did a track with Reality, Max Gavins, and 90, just because they were like 3 of my favorite artists at the time. And my last EP I did a track with you, Sam. And I haven't really. I don't know. I feel like, but now I'm realizing now that it's quite important to branch out and maybe not branch out, but like to ask other people if they want to do some collab tracks together, just because it'd be quite fun and something a bit different than what I've done before.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
I only do it with people who are rate really, and like it's not, you're not going to hear me on a drill track, so why would I do? You know what I mean? So, but I haven't.
Sure.
It's I mean, it might be funny, but it's not like I'm getting DMs every day from people saying, "Do you want to do a track together?" It's hardly ever happens. So,
well, this is what I was going to move on to. Do you get that, Abby?
you must.
Yeah, like not to pick up myself, but yeah, I get it a lot. Like even from people who aren't from here, from people in America and stuff. Like, hey girl, we need a collab. Oh my god, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
did that happen after the Mike Righteous thing?
It's been happening from the start, but since the Mike Righteous thing, it's got way like I've had a lot more. There must be like hundreds that I've just ignored, and I'm not even just trying to like brag with that, but it's the truth, and it's not because like I honestly haven't even listened to the people because it's just it's so many of them that I get a bit overwhelmed with it,
Yeah. I think, you tell me if I'm wrong here, right? But I think there's a certain way that dialogue goes, and I'm just gonna say how it is. Like when you put something out, right, and the immediate response is, "Oh, this is sick. We should collab."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
what's the point you're trying to make?
No. So what I'm trying to say is, do you feel sometimes that people say that maybe this is at both ears actually, because I'm not as seasoned as used to, but maybe people would use having you on the track to benefit them.
I kind of get what you mean, because it's like when they don't say anything really about the track, they just see that you're out doing stuff, and then they say, oh yeah, like, can we work together? And when it happens so often in the exact same way, sometimes I do think, oh, you're just trying to, like, I don't know. I don't want to say, because it's going to sound like I'm saying, oh, you're going to use me for clout, and I don't think I'm at a level where people could do that. But, like, I get what you mean. And I don't know if it is like that, but I've been thinking...
I do believe that it is like that, if I'm being completely honest. And if I'm being...
That's never happened to me because I'm not very good, but I can see it completely happening to you, 100%.
Can I be completely honest, right? With Drive-By, first and foremost, the reason that I asked you was because I absolutely love you. We were building a friendship at the time, but I was very aware at the time that you were going to, I told you this at the very start, I said, people are going to want to know who you are, people are going to want to book you, and there's a purely business decision. At the same time, I was like, this is going to be really beneficial to me. Little did I know that I would be getting called out on radio stations, being the feature of Abi Nyxx's track.
I know, that's ridiculous. I can't believe that happened. But I can't believe that you've used me, Sam. I'm disappointed.
Bastard.
But it's business, man. It's business, yeah. and the thing is, if we didn't have a connection, and we weren't chatting all the time and stuff like that, I wouldn't have done that. But yeah. I am an absolute fan of what you do. I am an absolute fan of what you do, Jack. I am a fan of everyone that I want to collab with. Anyone I book, I am a massive fan of them, unless it's an open mic night, because people can just turn up and do what they want. But showcase-wise and stuff, I don't want people on that I can't naturally and truly sit down and listen and not get gassed about. Like, whenever you perform, no matter what environment it's in, Abby, I get gassed about it. I get excited to listen to you. Same with you, Jack. Even recently when we're done that After Dark one, and I watched your comedy performance, like I was truly entertained by that, and that's why I'm so proud to be able to have featured Abi Nyxx on there. But it's easier for me to say now because, you know, it's very obvious, you know, a lot of the views that I've got on Drive By are probably from your fan base. But that's reality. It's business and stuff like that. But I mean, I did say, like, I had Kay Grayson on the track, you know, in the past, on the song Lost. But during that time in 2017, 2016, I was constantly booking her for gigs, and, you know, we were constantly on it and stuff like that. And it worked. It made sense to me as you know, as just not just business wise, but it made sense to me in terms of, well, I love this artist, you know. So don't get it twisted. I ain't using you.
No.
I don't use anyone. And if I did, I would shut down Right Music Management straight away. But, you know, I just think, especially now, there's a lot of that going on. I'm not saying people are using people. I'm just saying people will see you as a celebrity in a celebrity status, able to influence. Same with you, Jack, and stuff like that. Because I mean, why wouldn't they? You know, what's your plans going forward then, Abi?
Oh, I have no idea at all. I keep thinking while I'm washing the dishes at work, listening to my own songs because I'm an egotistical maniac.
Look, we all do that. It's fine. I'm glad.
I do that. I love listening to my music.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have to, don't you? But I keep thinking, like, okay, when I get home, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna make a plan for how I'm gonna, like, I keep saying, like, I'm gonna take back my musician life or whatever. But I don't think there is a plan at the minute, especially because you don't really know what's going on. You don't know if we're gonna ever be able to gig again. Not to be like dramatic, but
well, hopefully.
I guess just overall being more present on social media and things like that.
And how do you do that?
Honestly, couldn't tell you. I think there's a lot of ways to do it, but
absolutely
just don't rush anything. You know, just be easy with it. You're only 21, man. Get off social media. Go and live your life. Go do some wild stuff. Get a tattoo on your face or something. You know. We'll do some stuff that you'll regret, and in 5 years' time, it's fine. Yeah. Either do what I've just said, pure live your life, or like really double down on it and be famous by the time you're 24. Like, it's either one or the other. That's the way you've got
to Yeah, I think that's the thing.
I'm the worst person on the planet.
No, you've either got to be like, fuck it, or you've got to be like, okay, I'm doing this. And I sort of live in the middle, where I daydream about, like, both. I daydream about being like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to go move to Peru. Or I daydream about, I'm going to be famous.
Right.
I don't
do
anything.
Well, I think it's like that at the minute, though, isn't it? Because we don't really know what's going to go on. Like, I feel like if it was like normal times and all three of us were gigging like every night or every other night or whatever, I think we'd all be like, oh yeah, let's put out 3 albums next year. Blah, blah, blah. But I think it's because it's uncertain what's going to happen. I just do kind of feel like, oh, I might just move to America and just never see anybody ever again.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest, right, I think personally your reality is what you make it. So, like, it's very easy to say that because we're gigging and stuff like that, the momentum's up and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're also thinking, like, you've got all this time. And for me personally, I've been able to understand myself as an artist, and I've been able to understand right music and management a lot more because I've had that time. And also financially, I've been all right. You know, like, it is what you make it at the end of the day. And if I'm, you know, I could have chose to sit around and play video games all day, which I did for a bit of time. But I was like, I need to get this mixtape out. Like, I set myself a plan. And I said, no matter what happens, I'm just going to stick to this. If any success comes out of it, great. But after that, I mean, I don't have like a 10-year plan. I don't have a 5-year plan. I don't know what I want to be. I just know that I want to keep myself happy. And the way that I do that is I'm creative, I'm productive. You know, I give myself purpose and responsibility.
You wear hats indoors.
Wear hats indoors. You know, it's just give myself responsibility, you know. Well, it's it's a weird one, man. Being an artist is such a blessing and such a curse at the same time. And I think more importantly, it's believing that you're an artist and believing in your hype. Do you believe in your own hype, Abby? Do you believe in the hype of that other people build up about you? Or do you humble yourself with it?
No, I do believe it, to be honest. Like, I try not to get like cocky about it, but I do believe it. I think I'm pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's refreshing.
That's exactly what I want to hear. It's so important to build yourself up like that and have belief in yourself. Where do you think you fit? Where do you think you fit in this Northeast music scene?
Trying to think, because I still don't feel like I know it fully. I still kind of feel a bit like a newcomer, but like at least people know of me. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm so sorry.
I was just
sometimes I feel
again. Jack, just let.
No. You go, because
I was just agreeing with you in that I still feel like you're a newcomer in a sense.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to
say.
I feel that you're a newcomer, but it's one of those newcomers, you know, that win like the Critics' Choice Award of, you know, in the Brits and stuff like that. Like, you know, you've got potential for, you know, to be massive. You're very easy to market. Whatever, we were talking about versatility before, but I think you know what works for you. You know, we spoke in the past and you were talking about people getting in contact about managing you and stuff like that. I think you know how to manage yourself. I think you know what works. I think you know, you believe in your ability. You believe that you're an artist. You believe that you're meant to be here.
Believes the hype.
You've earned a place in this Northeast music scene, and there's a lot of people in the Northeast music scene that are still trying to earn that place. You know, I'm not saying there are any places to be earned. I'm just saying that there's this hierarchy, this ghost hierarchy that is there that, you know, people seem to believe in now and again. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you fit in the Northeast music scene as long as you fit. And I think it's just purely, especially now where everything's negative, and we spoke about this as well, about writing in a negative manner and maybe, you know, and how that can affect you. I think the fact you got a job is, you know, I keep coming back to that, but I think it's just so important because you can see such a difference in you, the way that you're talking about yourself and stuff like that. And just being an artist and just not even being an artist, but just being creative because you love doing it. It all comes back to the love of doing it. When I first picked up a guitar, when you first picked up the drumsticks, when you first sang your first note, you never would have thought you never knew the potential of what it could be. You just done it for the pure beauty of what it was, you know? And that gets lost along the way, making comparisons with other artists, trying to, you know, create something on social media, trying to, you know, just sort of give everyone a reason why you deserve to be where you are and what you're doing. And I know you've probably had that in the past, you know, with this whole crap about, you know, female rappers or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not about that, is it? Because your words and your lyrics and the way you conduct yourself, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? So you've got nothing to prove. Same with you, Jack. Same with me. But you get lost in that sometimes, just for a little minute, you know. So I think, yeah. I mean, is the way that people are talking to you, you know, the comments you get in the messages and stuff like that. And
can I interrupt? We've got like 10 minutes left, and I can't do another one of these. I have to.
I'm wrapping it up.
Okay. Start again. Sorry.
Are you happy with how you're seen on social media as a rapper? You don't put yourself in that sense of female rapper. You see yourself as a rapper in the Northeast.
I think I used to kind of play more into the like female rapper thing, but that was more because I felt like, not that I had to, but that maybe it would make people pay more attention to it. But honestly, I don't like all of that. Like, I recently changed my page on Facebook from female grime and drum and bass and hip hop MC to the grime, hip hop, and drum and bass MC, because I think it's stupid, and I wish it wasn't such a big deal. And I also don't want to be like, I think recently, because of like drama that's happened and stuff, people in the Northeast have started to see me as like, oh, the female rapper that talks about like, you know, sexual abuse and like female issues, how she's a female rapper. And I really don't want it to be like that. I don't want it to be like, yeah, I don't. I just want to be seen for the music and stuff like that, and it not to be about any of the rest of it. Yeah.
We almost made it all the way. We almost made it all the way through the podcast without mentioning the fact that you're a woman. That's pretty impressive.
I was thinking.
I had to bring it up because I think it's, you know, it's something that's been a part of your journey, and I think it's just important to touch on that. And also, whatever you say you are is what you are. You know what I mean? Like, again, as we were talking about before, it's just opinions, people's opinions. You know, if it affects you, then that's different. But if it doesn't affect you, then it's all sweet. Are there any rappers or artists or singers or anything that you want to shout out in the Northeast? I like to be able to show love. We spoke a lot about Iconic in the last one.
Oh,
so is there anyone that you'd like to shout out?
Well, obviously, like, I feel like this is a really obvious one, but 90 Bro. Because he, like, not even just as an artist, he's just been there for me a lot as a friend and stuff. And he doesn't really have a reason to, I don't feel.
Yeah.
He's just a lovely person, you know, and also like a really inspiring artist. And Sam, we've made this track with him now, which I still need to like finish mixing and everything. But yeah. I'm really excited about stuff that he's been saying. Like, he's gonna do this whole like album thing next year. What did he say? Like, he's thinking of releasing like 5 albums.
90s, bro.
Yeah. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. So good luck to him with that. So yeah, 90 Bro. I don't know, because I don't like to do this because I always forget people, and there's so many people that I want to shout out. Oh, see, no, I don't know. I love Freddie still. Like, Freddie really, really inspires me. We haven't.
Yeah, that's more the question. Who inspires you in the Northeast? I think that's more the question. So Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie's great. I also really love like Ronan Clan. I've been listening to all of their songs. And also I love like the little videos they do. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, they are very creative with that. Like,
I love how they have marketed themselves. That's like really
they're very good
as
at
well.
that.
Definitely. I think that is really important. Yeah, man. I think we'll probably leave it there. I think is there anything that you wanted to say, Jack?
No. No. Where can people find you, Abby, if people want to find more about you? Okay,
so on YouTube it's Abi Nyxx, ABINYXX, and it should just come up if you search for that. Facebook, Abi Nyxx, it's the same. I think it's facebook.com/Abi Nyxx, all as one word. And then Instagram is just Abi Nyxx, all as one word, no spaces or anything.
Nice. Clean.
Yeah.
Awesome. And can we expect any music from you soon?
Probably. I hope so. I have loads of stuff. I just haven't put it out yet. That's how it always is. You know?
I know a lot of people will be looking forward to that, and I know you'll create another buzz when you do release that.
I know one person in particular who's waiting for a piece of music from Abi Nyxx. Definitely, yeah. I'm just kidding.
It's been since July. I was so surprised when I looked like the other day and saw like the messages from July. Like, oh shit, I really need to do this, don't I?
No, that's sweet. That's sweet. I think we'll leave it there. All the links to your socials will be below, Abi, as well as the socials to Right Music and Management, Sam Thomas, and Jack Fox as well. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for being so open and honest, and just chatting. You know, it's nice to talk to me friends. And please stay creative. You know, keep making those sweet sandwiches. And, anyway, thank you very much, everyone. We're going to wrap it up there. This has been Chat Fox with Abi Nyxx. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you again soon for another episode.
Thank you.
Bye. Hey.